Welcome to this exclusive note. Grab a seat, because we're going to treat this like a one-on-one, professional mentorship session today. I am absolutely thrilled to be your guide as we explore the literal architecture of the digital economy. The internet has, without a doubt, fundamentally transformed how we work, learn, shop, and, most importantly, build wealth. But underneath all those apps and websites we use every single day, there are distinct, highly calculated business frameworks operating behind the scenes.
So, I want you to start by really thinking about this question. What actually makes an internet business highly profitable? Have you ever wondered why some digital startups can scale globally in just a few years, generating massive wealth, while your traditional brick-and-mortar businesses might take decades to reach even a fraction of that size? Well, the answer lies entirely in the models they choose, models that leverage technology to create absolutely unprecedented scalability and recurring revenue.
Okay, let's dive into this. The purpose of our mentorship session today is to give you a true masterclass. We're going to decode the blueprints of the most successful companies in the world. Whether you're a founder looking to start your next venture, a freelancer trying to monetize your skills, or really just someone who wants to understand how the modern business world ticks, this note is going to give you the foundational knowledge you need to build, scale, and thrive. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the digital economy opportunity, then look at e-commerce and direct sales, move into marketplaces and aggregators, break down the SaaS revenue engine, and wrap up with freemium and future trends. We're starting with the more accessible models and scaling all the way up to the holy grail of recurring revenue. All right, Section 1, the digital economy opportunity. Because at the end of the day, every legitimate internet business falls into a recognizable category. Let's look at exactly where you can capture value in this massive ecosystem, ranging all the way from solo creators to global digital platforms.
Moving right along to Section 2, e-commerce and direct sales. This is the most foundational of all internet business models, buying and selling goods directly online.
Back in the earliest days, e-commerce was basically just the digital equivalent of a mail order catalog, only without that agonizing 6-week wait for shipping. It was completely revolutionary at the time, but honestly quite simple by today's standards. Today, that basic concept has evolved into these incredibly smart, data-driven digital storefronts that literally power global trade. But the foundational principle remains exactly the same. It's an electronic exchange of value.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how e-commerce breaks down into several distinct relationships. You've got your classic B2C, where businesses sell directly to end consumers, think Amazon. Then you have B2B, businesses selling to other businesses, which actually drives much larger transaction values globally. We've also got C2C marketplaces like eBay and C2B platforms like Upwork, where individual people offer their skills directly to companies, but pay really close attention to D2C, or direct-to-consumer. Brands like Warby Parker or Glossier, they manufacture their own products and sell them directly to you. By cutting out the traditional middlemen, those retailers and wholesalers, D2C models command significantly higher profit margins. It's an absolutely fantastic model for builders who want complete end-to-end control over their brand and their customer experience.
Section 3, marketplaces and aggregators. What if you want to build a massive business without managing physical inventory at all? We're moving up the builder's blueprint here into network effect models, where your business simply connects users. The core difference here between traditional retail and the modern platform economy is just striking. A traditional business has to own its inventory, pay for physical storefronts, and carry this huge overhead risk. But platforms like Uber or Airbnb, they don't operate that way at all. Uber doesn't own a fleet of cars. Airbnb doesn't own hotels. They are incredibly asset-light. They externalize the actual production and the inventory to third parties. What the platform actually owns is the digital interface, the brand, and most importantly, the trust of the user. So let's map this out as a system. Here is the marketplace formula in action. Step 1, sellers partner up with the platform. Step 2, buyers seek out those services. Step 3, the platform aggregates both sides of that equation. And Step 4, transactions happen, generating revenue. The true magic here, the real secret sauce, is the network effect. Every new driver on Uber makes the app more valuable for the riders, which in turn attracts more drivers. Supply and demand scale together effortlessly, constantly strengthening the platform's dominance in the market. And because these aggregators aren't carrying the burden of physical inventory, they enjoy a beautifully scalable, low-risk revenue model. This is exactly why startup founders absolutely gravitate toward it. They make money primarily through commissions, taking, say, a 15 to 30% cut of every single transaction. But it doesn't stop there.
They can also layer in subscription fees for premium features, vendor listing fees in crowded markets, and highly profitable advertising networks using all that data they collect. It is an incredibly robust system for building wealth.
Section 4. The SaaS Revenue Engine. We are officially transitioning to the holy grail of the digital economy. If you want to understand modern tech wealth, you have to understand SaaS.
For those newer to the term, SaaS stands for Software as a Service. Simply put, these are ready-to-use applications delivered right through your internet browser. Remember the old days? You had to buy those expensive software CDs, install them on every single computer, and just pray the server didn't crash? With SaaS, the vendor handles all of the technical heavy lifting. The servers, the security patches, the daily backups. It's all done for you. The customer simply logs in and gets to work, effectively renting a limitless computing utility.
If we break down the technical architecture of a SaaS business, you'll see it relies on 4 interlocking layers. First, you have the product layer. That's the actual software tool itself. Beneath that is the infrastructure layer, the rented cloud servers powering everything. Then comes the user layer, representing the customers actively engaging with the software. And finally, wrapping the whole shebang together is the billing layer, the automated subscription systems. These 4 layers interlock seamlessly to create a fully centralized, totally hands-off experience for the end user.
So the crucial point is, why do developers and founders love this model so much? Well, it really comes down to financial predictability and operational leanness. Because SaaS relies on monthly or annual subscriptions, the revenue is highly predictable. It's recurring. It builds these strong customer habits, which leads to great retention. And since there's zero physical inventory, the scalability is just massive. You write the code once, and you can sell it to 10 people or 10 million people with barely any additional cost.
To truly grasp the financial impact of subscription-based commerce, just look at this number: $904 billion. Let that sink in. That's the projected global size of the subscription e-commerce market by 2026. Consumers and businesses alike are showing a massive preference for the convenience and the predictability of subscriptions. For future-ready builders, the wealth creation potential here is absolutely staggering.
Which brings us to Section 5, Freemium and Future Trends. As we look toward the future, the big question becomes, in such a crowded digital landscape, how do these companies actually acquire users?
One of the absolute most powerful customer acquisition models out there right now is freemium. Think about products you probably use every day, like Dropbox, Slack, or Zoom. They give away their basic features entirely for free just to remove any initial friction when you sign up. And what this does is radically shift the burden of proof. Instead of relying on some expensive marketing campaign to convince you to buy, they just let the product's actual performance do the talking. Once you build a habit around using it and you hit a usage limit, you naturally just upgrade to a paid tier. And this brilliantly illustrates the strategic tightrope that software founders have to walk. Because actually, scratch that, giving away your product isn't truly free. Those free users are consuming valuable server resources, customer support time, and development costs without generating any direct revenue. So the business has to implement some really delicate financial planning. The upgrade path, whether that means hitting a storage limit or suddenly needing a premium feature, has to be strategically automated to balance that free resource drain against the eventual lifetime value of the paying customer. To tie all of these models together, consider this incredibly powerful quote from Sparkline Capital. Platform companies externalize the means of production. Instead, they profit from orchestrating networks of external consumers and producers. That, right there, is the ultimate shift in the modern digital economy. We have moved away from an era of aggressively owning physical things to a new era of intelligently orchestrating digital connections. Wow, we have covered immense ground in this note, from the foundations of direct e-commerce all the way to the highly scalable heights of aggregators and SaaS platforms. You now have the blueprint in your hands. You can see the actual mechanics of how digital wealth is generated today. So the only thing left to ask is, which internet business model are you going to build to thrive in the digital economy? The tools are out there, the opportunity is massive, and it's entirely up to you to take action.